Welcome to John Martin Talks, where we battle ignorance and apathy daily. The growing ignorance of just how special this experiment we call the United States of America is, and the apathy that we can't or won't do anything and everything to save her. Just a friendly reminder, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching it live right now, we have moved to a new time. Same network, same Facebook channels, YouTube, everything we've been broadcasting before. But if you want to see us live, we're going to be live every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. So spread the word. We're glad to have you. Of course, you can see our show anytime on all of our different networks on demand, and we'll tell you more about that later. All right, we got a great show for you today. We're going to start with Joe Biden, man. He's doing the European vacation. He is going to Europe. In fact, he is across the big pond as we speak right now, and we'll update you on the latest goings-on on the EU vacation of Joe Biden. He needs one, right? He's been working so hard. But then another story that is really troubling, especially if you believe in the Second Amendment and you're a gun owner. I tell you what, Joe Biden is not, they're not coming for your guns right now. I told you over a year ago that if Joe Biden got elected, one of the things they were going to do was tax your guns out of existence. And that is exactly what they're trying to do, and we'll explain that in just a moment. And then if we have time, I want to give you an update on Kamala south of the border, man. She's bumbling and stumbling and rumbling and tumbling all the way down there south of the border, and we'll update you on that. But before we go any further, we always have to talk about our sponsors, and top of that list is BDU, Big Daddy Unlimited. Look above the video, no matter when or where you're watching it, and you will see a description of what we're talking about, but you'll also see links to our various sponsors and other important information. Big Daddy Unlimited, click on that, follow the directions, and you will get factory direct pricing on guns and ammunition delivered directly to your door. They're your Second Amendment headquarters, because not only do they provide, as I say, factory direct pricing, but they defend your Second Amendment rights on a daily basis. And there's over 100,000 other items you can choose from that are Second Amendment related, from not only just even swag, but certainly survival gear, tactical gear, protective wear, anything that remotely has to do with the Second Amendment. You will find it at factory direct pricing. And some people have asked me, well, just how big a savings can we get? Because it's hard to see if you're not a member. Well, we have a great thing for you now. Prior to our coming on at 10 o'clock Eastern time, check out Deals for Denny. It's up and running now. You can also watch it live at 10 o'clock across not only John Martin Talks, but one of our other Facebook sites, Excluded, put it like with an X. You can check out Deals for Denny. It's a very short show, and he demonstrates to you what the price savings you can get on various items. Check it out. You absolutely cannot go wrong. Then we have patriotthreads.org, apparel with a purpose. The most important thing to remember is our initials of our show, JMT, John Martin Talks, for 20% off. They are a total fulfillment center, patriotthreads.org. They will produce shirts for your charity events with a patriotic theme and help you, as the old salty dog says, from stem to stern with producing the shirts, helping you to market the shirts, making sure that the proceeds go to the charity of your choice. Check it out. Remember, JMT, 20% off. Then we have Recoil TV. We're honored to be partnered up with them. They have a YouTube channel. It's Recoil TV. Of course, we have our own. Good morning, YouTubers. How are you? Glad to have you watching. Please go, if you haven't checked out our YouTube channel, subscribe, give us some views, and share it with others. But we have a channel inside the channel of Recoil TV, archived basically on a daily basis. Recoil TV gives you high quality video about everything remotely concerning the Second Amendment. They show you the latest guns, ammunition, any kind of other hardware, tactical gear, all the kind of things that BDU, by the way, sells. You will see demonstrated on Recoil TV. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show. We're going to start with a Breitbart article. Joe Biden, like I said, he's on the EU vacation. Let's read you the headline here. Joe Biden lands in the United Kingdom to reverse Trump's America First foreign policy. He says we're back. I don't know exactly where we were, but we're back, right? President Joe Biden landed in the United Kingdom on Wednesday, kicking off a series of meetings with European leaders at the G7 summit this week. Now, I did you a public service. Hang on. I do a public service for you. If you're new to our show, first of all, howdy, how are you? Where you been? You're in the right place now. As my friend at patriotthreads.org says, the truth starts now. One of the public services I do is I watch shows, programs, speeches, read articles so that you don't have to. And I watched Joe Biden yesterday at our Air Force base in England over there. And I say overall, he did an okay job. I mean, he read the teleprompters pretty well. I mean, he very much comes off as a very old dude that if he didn't have the teleprompters would be going, why am I here? I mean, he really does. Now, he got a pretty decent reception from the soldiers, so there was no cackling, no booing. They applauded, they cheered loudly, as they should, because whomever's president, and God help us, Joe Biden is the occupant right this moment, they deserve the office deserves a certain amount of respect, and they are the commander-in-chief, whether they want to be or not. Joe Biden even quipped at one point, he said, I keep forgetting I'm president. And he was making a joke, but the sad part is it probably is too much. But Biden said one of the things that stood out to me is he talked about very briefly that he gave out his itinerary, so to speak, and he said it's going to culminate with meeting Putin. And I guess he was thinking this makes him sound tough. He said, he said, and I'm going to be meeting Putin where I want to make sure I get it right. He says, where I'm going to tell Putin what I want him to know. And, the audience, which is mostly soldiers, they clapped a little bit. I'm not sure they understood. Maybe they understand more than I do about it. But again, he said, I'm going to tell Putin what I want him to know. I'm not sure exactly what to make of that, but I predict that Biden he better bring a lunch because Putin's going to eat it. Let's put it that way. Biden spoke about his priorities for the trip before leaving the United States on Wednesday. This is what he said. Strengthening the alliance and make it clear to Putin and to China that Europe and the United States are tight and the GS is going to move. Now, I'm not sure exactly what the heck he means by the GS is going to move. I know this. I'm going to miss. You remember this picture? This was in Canada. This was Donald Trump's, I believe, first meeting with the GS. Their summit was in Canada. And that famous picture right there, I miss that guy. Yes, I do miss you, President Trump. I think a lot of us do. But I'm going to miss that picture of them looking at Trump. I mean, that's classic, man. It's like Trump, a man alone, America first. See, they don't like America first. That's the thing. We'll expand on that in a minute. But the Europeans don't like America first because what they want us to do is break one off, break off that cash, man. That's all they really care about. But Biden will meet. Back to the article here. Biden will meet with United Kingdom Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Thursday before Boris has got to miss Trump a little bit, right? Because you could make a case that Boris Johnson would not be the prime minister if it weren't for Brexit push. And Brexit may not have happened without Donald Trump's support. So, if he'd have come out against it, I guarantee you it wouldn't happen. But Biden will meet with United Kingdom Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Thursday before the G7 summit begins in Cornwall, UK on Friday. He will also meet with Turkish President Erdogan. Now that should be an interesting meeting right there. And Queen Elizabeth II during his trip and travel to Sweden. I wonder if he's going to sniff the Queen. That would be, I look forward to that picture. Hey man, can I sniff your hair? But during his trip and travel to Sweden, that's where he's going to meet Vladimir Putin. And I hope Biden has a good trip. I'm not one of these people that wishes ill on the president of the United States, even if I didn't vote for them. Big surprise, I did not vote for Joe Biden. I did not cast a ballot for Joe Biden. I cast a ballot and voted for Donald Trump. So I just hope that the winds are favorable for Joe Biden over there because, he's in danger of this.
President Biden trips, not once, not twice, but 3 times as he tries to climb the stairs to Air Force One today. He brushes off his pant leg and continues on. Once at the top, he gives a salute before heading inside the aircraft.
It was very, very windy at Joint
Very,
Base Andrews.
very
and that may have
windy.
contributed
Can
to
you believe that? Do you remember that when he did that a month or so ago? The White House came out. Well, he didn't. It wasn't because he was running or he's feeble or whatever. It's because the wind blew him over. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe I'm just an old country boy. I mean, because where I come from, that is not a compliment. I mean, many times I was telling my producer before, when I grew up, we'd say something like, you better keep it over there, man, because a puff of wind blow you over, let alone coming against me, boy. I mean, that when you said a puff of wind would blow you over, it wasn't like an explanation. It was a cut down. So I ask you, chime in on Facebook or YouTube. I'm trying to keep up with the comments. I'm a little behind. I will eventually get to everybody's comments, no matter when or where you're watching the video. But tell me, is it better that he's old and feeble and almost fell to his death there, and I'm not wishing that, or that the wind blew him over? I'm I don't know, man. It gets pretty, their explanation was pretty windy, I know that. Since Biden took office, he has proclaimed America is back. What exactly does that mean? America is back. Where were we? It's like when people come up to me and say, have you found Jesus? And I'll go, well, heck, I didn't know he was lost. I'll help you look for him, though. But America is back and ready to engage the global community of nations after former President Donald Trump famously promoted a foreign policy that favored, like this is a criticism, that favored, wait for it, America first. Now, isn't that something, man? That Donald Trump, man, he didn't know what the heck he was doing, right? I mean, come on, man. Like, what would Biden say? Come on, man. America first? Who the heck is for that? My question is, who's opposed to it? Apparently the entire Democratic Party, but, America first. And what that really means, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what that means. Open up your checkbook. America is bringing the cash, baby. Our checkbook is open. We don't expect you to obligate your treaty like in NATO, like Trump did. You don't have to pay your bills. Uncle Sam Piggy Bank is here, man. That's what that really means. So grab your wallet because they're coming after your money. Trump was aggressive with Europe, according to this article. Trump was aggressive with Europe as part of America First agenda. Aggressive. He asked them, hey, live up to the agreement, the treaty in NATO that you signed, and pay what you said you was going to pay. That's aggressive. So in other words, you go to somebody, knock on it and say, you're a little late with your payment this month and, your rent. But hey, never mind. The government take care of you. Don't worry about me. I mean, I guess it's aggressive to say, hey, pay your rent or sadly, I'm going to have to move you out. I mean, I don't get it. Why is that aggressive to simply ask for what's owed you? But he said, as part of his America First agenda, this is about Trump, backing the populist United Kingdom referendum to exit the European Union, in other words, Brexit, raising tariffs on the European Union, actually treating them the way they treated us, challenging Russia and Germany on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and pressing every nation to meet their NATO funding obligations. God, they hated Trump, didn't they? I mean, Trump went in and just signed a light on and said, look, I guess it's radical. It's radical to ask and have an expectation that they will live up to the agreement they signed, the NATO Accords, right? That's radical to expect that. I guess it's radical to say, if you're having tariffs against us for building automobiles, that maybe we should have a tariff against you for building automobiles. That or steel or aluminum or whatever. That is radical. To ask for them to ask to be treated the way they treat you is radical, because all they want is break off another 100, man, or 100 billion. That's all they really want. And the Russian pipeline, man, think about it. The Russian pipeline is going strong. The Russian pipeline makes Germany the piggy bank to keep Putin in power. If it weren't for the pipelines going to Europe, Putin would probably already have crumbled his whole thing, because they have propped him up. So on the one hand, Biden signs off on the Putin pipeline. Thank you very much. I'm sure that will be appreciated when he goes to Switzerland or Sweden. I think it's Sweden. But the XL pipeline, as we announced yesterday, officially they've pulled the plug on that. The companies that were behind the XL pipeline said, we're just going to pull it. So the pipeline is dead, at least for now, no matter who the president is. But as I say, Germany is Russia's piggy bank. But nobody ever talks about that. You never hear about that unless you watch shows like John Martin Talks. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, it is important to watch our show, share it with others, search us out, because, I mean, we're under the gun more than ever, and because we're so open and honest about our conservative values here, especially things like the Second Amendment, who knows what these social media networks are going to do. But we're determined to stay in the public square in every way possible, and we need your help to do that. So as I tell you many, many times, not everybody can be a fighter, but everybody can support those of us in the fight. So you can watch us, share us, you can check out our sponsors, and we're growing that list here. We're going to be making a few more announcements in the not too distant future, but we need your help. Thank you very much for all you have done. We wouldn't be here without you. European Council President Charles Michael, I guess it's Michael, or is it Michelle? It might be Michelle. European President Council Charles Michel rejoiced in Biden's trip to Europe, proclaiming that America is back. America is back. In other words, you know why he's so excited? Because he's like a hooker on a pole dance, man, where you're making it rain. Uncle Sam came in the building and they went crazy. Whoop, whoop, here he is, man. Uncle Sam is back, and he's bigger and bolder than ever with his checkbook, and he's making it rain. And all those EU PMs and everything are ready to get on the pole and make it rain, baby. They ready to show it nationwide, worldwide. I mean, that's what that really means. But Michelle said this. He said, it means that we have, again, a very strong partner. They're talking about Biden, right? I guess American. When you think of Biden, does strength come to mind? Not to me. It means that we have, again, a very strong partner to promote the multilateral approach, a big difference with Trump administration. Multilateral approach. You know what that basically means is what I've been telling you all morning here. America pays. Multilateral approach means that Iran gets the bomb. That's what it means, that our best ally and friend in the Middle East is under greater peril than ever. That's what it means. It means that Russia is stronger than ever because they're propping them up. It means that China is stronger than ever because the Bidens are in their pocket already. That's what this multilateral approach means. Business as usual means a continuous slide from the United States of America. And that's what we're in. It's been slowed down. Ronald Reagan, the Tea Party, they helped slow it down. Trump helped slow it down. But we're coasting. We're coasting, and you can only coast downhill. Try coasting uphill. You don't go very far. Biden's National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, said Biden wanted to rally democratic nations nations against encroaching authoritarian regimes like China and Russia. Well, you know, if he wants some help there, why didn't he just take Hunter Biden? I wonder if Hunter Biden is on this trip. No, Kamala's not on the trip because she said, I haven't been to Europe. We might play that video for you later. But I wonder if Hunter is back. I mean, he knows all about how to make things pay off. But Sullivan said he does want to show rallying the rest of the world's democracies, that democracies are the countries that can best deliver solutions for the people everywhere. And as I tell you, when you hear for the people, that man, bend over, you're ready to take it. But Billy Bob, in case you hadn't, he said he just kind of, he channels his thoughts to me, said he's confused. If you hadn't met Billy Bob, he's my Billy Bob Bass. He's my psychic sidekick. He's got a Twitter handle, by the way. It's at Billy Bob Bass 1, and mine is at John Martin Talks. Like I say, we're determined to stay in the public square. But Billy Bob says he's confused because it says here, this guy Sullivan says that Biden wants to show rallying the rest of the world's democracies, that democracies are the countries that can best deliver solutions for people everywhere. In other words, they can stand up against Russia and in this case China. And I think what Billy Bob is, he said he has evidence of his confusion. Well, let's go ahead and play it and we'll come back and talk about it.
You know, Chinese leaders, if you know anything about Chinese history, it has always been the time when China has been victimized by the outer world is when they haven't been unified at home. So the central, to vastly overstated, the central principle of Xi Jinping is that there must be a united, tightly controlled China. And he uses his rationale for the things he does based on that. I point out to him, no American president can be sustained as a president if he doesn't reflect the values of the United States. And so the idea, I'm not going to speak out against what he's doing in Hong Kong, what he's doing with the Uyghurs in western mountains of China, and Taiwan trying to end the one China policy by making it forceful. I said, and by the way, he said he gets it. Culturally, there are different norms at each country, and their leaders are expected to follow.
Cultural norms. So basically, let me straighten, because I can understand, Billy Bob, why you're confused. Because let's go back to this previous paragraph. It says here that he wants to rally the rest, talking about Biden, the rest of the world's democracy, that democracies are the countries that can best deliver solutions for the people everywhere. Unless, of course, it violates a cultural norm and you're getting killed and castrated and having females attacked with electrical prods. You're having your organs forcefully donated, so to speak, taken from you in some kind of gulag in China. We're talking about the Uyghur Muslims. So I guess democracies protect them everywhere. Unless you're a Uyghur Muslim in China, then it's just a cultural difference, just a little difference of opinion there. Of course, if you're somebody who's standing up for freedom in Hong Kong, well, it don't protect you there because, of course, you're standing up against China. Or if you happen to be a nation, and yes, Taiwan is truly, I don't care if it pisses them off or not, Taiwan is a nation. We should recognize it. I was hoping that if Donald Trump got reelected, he would recognize Taiwan. But, you know, the fact that China is threatening to obliterate them, the only democracy in that region, then, you know, what do you... I guess that democracies don't help. So I understand your confusion, but it's really about cultural differences. I don't know about you, but it enrages me every time I hear Biden say that people who are being tortured, raped, having their organs taken from them, in other words, murdered, that's just a cultural norm. It's just a difference in cultural norm. It's not much different between us and them. You know, what did Ilhan Omar say a couple of days ago? Oh, there's nothing different between the United States of America, Hamas, and the Taliban. And I said the other day, by the way, if you want to check out our podcast, there's all the ways I told you before, but you can also check out America's Voice News. We're archived there on a daily basis. They're on Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, Channel 219, Dish Network, Pluto channel as well. Download free apps on your Android or your iPhone. Go to the streaming service, look under the shows tab, and you will see us there broken up into 3 separate segments every day. But it's just crazy what is happening out here, and these cultural norms and all this kind of stuff. I don't know, does it enrage you when we hear that? Oh, and I meant to make that point about Ilhan Omar. She said that, you know, that the United States is no different between Hamas and the United States and Hamas and the United States and the Taliban. And I said yesterday that we should just send Ilhan on over there. Just have her just go. Once you do some congressional in-depth solo reporting on the Taliban, embrace yourself there and see what happens. Sullivan, and make sure we say who he is in case you get lost here. And that is Sullivan. He's a national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, for Mr. Biden. He said he does want to show. Oh, I already read that part. Sullivan said Biden wanted to prove. Sorry, dangers of live TV. Biden wanted to prove that democracy had the best solutions to fight the coronavirus pandemic, regardless of where it came from, I suppose. Climate change, which China's not a part of, right? Economic recovery, as well as basic human rights and human dignity of all people. Well, that means I got the check. We're ready to sign it. That's all that means. When they talk about we're going to be the protector of the world, it means that we are the piggy bank, right? But Jen Psaki, I hope I say her name right, Jen Psaki, the press secretary, this is what she said. She said, I will say that he, talking about Biden, has been getting ready for 50 years. Yeah, I'd say so. Getting ready for something. Has been on the world stage, has known a number of these leaders for decades. And what has he accomplished? What has Biden accomplished for the decades that he's been on the world stage? Once again, Billy Bob chimes in. He says that there's one thing for sure that Biden accomplished in Europe and used his influence for. Well, if you got it, play it. Let's see what Billy Bob's talking about.
Corruption. They made, I'll give you one concrete example. I was, not but it just happened to be, that was the assignment I got. I got all the good ones. So I got Ukraine. And I remember going over convincing our team, our others, to convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to the press conference. I said, no, I'm not going to, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours. I looked at it, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And someone.
So Billy Bob's right. Biden did accomplish something in Europe. He got his son an out-of-jail-free card and a few $1 million on top of that, man. So, yeah, I stand corrected. Biden is very effective at his own crime family syndicate. And I like how he says, well, son of a gun. Well, son of a gun, I guess Joe Biden, one thing we know for sure, Joe Biden there is going to make sure that the Bidens come out right. The taxpayers of the United States of America, I'm not so sure we're going to like Biden's plan. All right, we're going to move along. We'll keep you posted about what happens over the weekend on Biden's EU vacation. But I can tell you something that's happening right here, right now, that you better get truly woke about. You know, one of the things I hear, I told you this before, but if I say it, it bears repeating. You know, I've been involved in a sense with the Second Amendment. We never gave it a second thought when I was growing up because guns were just kind of the fabric of life in the country. But when I got involved with BDU, I came in contact with people who are what you would call gun enthusiasts, people who are really, really into it, for all kind of different reasons. Nothing nefarious about it. Protection of their family, marksmanship, hunting, yes, and all that kind of stuff, although hunting is really not part of the Second Amendment. We'll talk about that maybe later. We talked about it before. But the thing that shocked me the most is I got in touch with people who, and it shouldn't have maybe, but who are really into guns, is how little some of them were into government. Even though guns and government have been intertwined since, I guess, the beginning of time. There's a reason why it's enshrined in the U.S. Constitution, right? And so I've been telling a lot of these guys and gals all the time that, hey, you might not be interested in politics, but politics is very interested in you. And this story proves that I've been right all along. So let's get into it. It's a Washington Examiner story. New taxes under Biden gun registration push will reach billions. And as we go into this article, you'll see that this doesn't have to be passed through Congress. This is something through the Department of Justice and an interpretation of existing law. So they're trying to hook and crook you, man. And elections have consequences. In a newly proposed regulation from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, most owners will have to, because what they're talking about here is these and I'm not an expert on this, so if I misstate something, please forgive me, because there are a lot of experts around me that can and that can help me. But they're talking about these what they call AR-15 pistols. So in other words, and they're talking about that extra little part there on the back, that stock there. That's what that's where they're trying to catch you on this, and we'll explain it a little bit more as we go in here into. But you'll have to pay $200 per tax, $200 per weapon, or radically change it to turn it into a gun to be destroyed. To be destroyed. Think about that. So they're taxing you. This is the key thing. They're going to tax you on something that you've already purchased. And you've probably already paid tax on it, a sales tax, depending on what your state and all that has to do. You've already paid tax on this, but now they're going to come back and tax you on something you've not only already purchased, but they're going to do it on an annual basis. And this does not if this holds up, now I'm not going to say it won't be challenged, but this does not take, this is the scary part for you gun owners out there, this does not take an act of Congress. And because ATF said it doesn't expect anyone to give up their guns, so they're not expecting you to give up their guns, the money would roll in if the rule is adopted. So yeah, like, oh, we're not going to come take your guns. We're not coming for your guns. You can cling on to your Bibles and your guns like Obama. Just hold on to them. We just going to grab your wallet. We're going to grab your wallet. We're going to make sure that you look at that gun and say, you know, maybe we might offer you, you know, a buyback or a turn into the local sheriff's office or whatever, or throw it in the dumpster. I don't know. But we're going to make you think twice about keeping that gun. We're not going to take it from you. We're just going to make sure it's too expensive for you to use. And they're going to do the same thing with ammunition. You can bet that. While the agency estimated there are 3 million to 7 million of the weapons, they're talking about the agency ATF, held by Americans, other agencies and media have put the total at potentially 20 to 40 million guns and regulated parts. That's a heap of parts and regulated parts that would fall under this. So this is, let me just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is not going to end well. I'm not advocating violence whatsoever. But I love that meme right there. It says, yeah, they keep telling them, yeah, come take them. You know, come on, take them. I mean, that's how they believe, man. That's how they believe. So this is not going to end well. I can tell you, I personally know people that they're not going to turn them over, and they may not want to pay. So what happens if you don't pay your taxes? Well, the tax man, like we find out when I'm fishing, because we call the sharks the tax man always gets his cut. There's a reason why the Beatles even wrote about the tax man. I mean, so, you know, they're going to get their share. A lot of gangsters, and I'm not talking about gun owners being gangsters, but that's what they're trying to turn you into. That's how they got Al Capone, and they're going to talk about they're going back to an Al Capone era law to take your money. And they, believe me, if they don't get their cash, well, you know what happened to Al Capone. He survived a lot of stuff, but the tax man, he couldn't get past that. At those levels, the agency, talking about the ATF cash register, could collect up to $8 billion in the first year, and every year after that, of the new rule if everyone complied. So and ladies and gentlemen, see, they need your money. They need your money. I mean, they don't need to raise taxes like income taxes, because first of all, they could just print it. And now they're going to create a new tax out of thin air that doesn't, as I say, this is key, does not require congressional approval. So no matter who's in control of the House or the Senate, they can't stop this. It could be potentially stopped at the Supreme Court. That's another issue, but they need your money. Now that Europe, or the previous story we did, is not going to be required to pay anymore, now that we're back to being piggy bank Uncle Sam, that guy, yeah, they're going to need your money more than ever. The 71-page rule signed by, listen to this, if you're a person who owns one of these guns, or you just believe in the Second Amendment, or you believe in fairness, period, you need to listen to what I'm about to say, because elections have consequences. I keep telling you that you might not be interested in government, but government is interested in you. Listen to this. The 71-page rule signed by Attorney General Merrick Garland, so it's already been signed off on, would change the classification of the guns popular at ranges and in some hunting circles to a category of dangerous weapons. It's already been signed. Weapons and subject to Al Capone era rule aimed at ending gangland killings. So all of you guys out there with the little extra stock, I guess you're gangland killers, right? And sawed-off shotguns and rifles. And I love how they say so they're taking a weapon and they're just reclassifying it as dangerous. What's the evidence? What evidence? Well, here's their evidence. The rule cited just one deadly shooting where an AR pistol was used. And they don't even classify whether it was self-defense or not. So one time they come up with an AR pistol was used in a deadly shooting, and the person might have shot their dadgum self. You know that the largest percentage of, quote, gun violence is people taking their own life. I just wish some of them ones that do all the shooting and then take their life would take that first step first. I'm just saying, maybe that's too controversial for a family show algorithm. I didn't mean to do it. But think about that. So they're going to turn you into a criminal overnight and make you pay taxes based on essentially nothing. based on nothing, based on their hatred of America, their hatred of guns, and how they realized that the Second Amendment was designed to protect you from the Here's the thing I want to come back to. I mentioned this casually, but I'll just make a point. The Second Amendment has zip to do with hunting. Nothing to do with hunting whatsoever, other than the fact that you can own a gun. The Second Amendment is clear that it is to help the states on an individual basis and their Minutemen, so to speak, to be able to resist the tyranny of a bloated federal government. That's one part. And then the other part is so that you can protect, it's guaranteed life, liberty, and the pursuit, not the guarantee of happiness, so that you can protect your family, your property, and your personal self from harm. That's at the core. Those two things are at the core of the Second Amendment. And I've told you this many times, but if I say it, it bears repeating, that I would go a step further and say that protecting yourself is a basic human right. It'd be one that the Uyghurs wish they had, those cultural norms. It'd be one that Taiwan already has, so you better not mess with them. I mean, my God, this is one of the reasons why people are coming to this country, and you can't blame them, because you have a human right. If you can't protect yourself, your family, and your property, then what the heck is the point? Okay? And so that's what the Second Amendment is about, and our founding fathers knew exactly what they were doing, man. But it's just crazy. So at issue is a stabilizing brace, we showed you that picture, attached to the butt of the pistol, meant to make it easier to shoot with one hand. I don't know how many people actually do that. Many are extendable, and some owners use the pistols as rifles. Wow, what a sin. That said, ATF turns the shorter barrel pistols into regulated short barrel rifles. How convenient. How convenient they can just do it. Now, they didn't tell you all this before you bought it, but now you've purchased it. Sorry about your luck. Oh, and here comes the tax man. It's just, they're turning you to a criminal overnight, man. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about this a few weeks back. Out in San Francisco, it is so lawless out there now, and they passed these asinine bills that make it, I think it's like $900 theft is not a crime anymore, and even fencing stuff that is worth $900 or less is not a criminal offense anymore. That's where they're at in San Francisco. And you know what happened? Walgreens announced they're closing all their stores out there because they can't stay in business because people are just coming in and taking stuff like they want off the shelves, and they can't do nothing about it. They can't do anything about it. So they want you to be defenseless, ladies and gentlemen, because think about it. If you can't defend your home, you can't defend yourself, let alone you can't defend your property, then what do you got left? And it is the destruction of America. You better get woke, I'm just telling you. The ATF rule also suggested that there are 8 major makers of the braces, and their industry will be put in jeopardy if it's adopted. So businesses could go under because of this. For the greater good. It's the greater good. The XL pipeline, it's for the greater good. They go out, those people are out of work. It's all for the greater good, man. We're letting people bum rush the border for the greater good. They're going to save the country by all that. And they're taking your guns or taxing you out of them. It's all for the greater good. I'm just saying, I'm going to say it one more time. I can't guarantee I might say it again. You better get truly woke. You better use that term, that leftist term woke, and you better get woke to what's really happening before it's too late. And it's already been signed. Maybe too late already. Elections do have consequences. All right, we got a few minutes left, just enough time to update you on Kamala. Queen Kamala, man. Did I tell you, I think I mentioned this to you yesterday, that the LA Times now has come out and they're going to have a Kamala section in their paper. Not a Biden section, but a section dedicated to Kamala Harris. I don't know if it's daily, weekly, or monthly. I mean, the way she's going, it might be minutely. I don't know. But listen to this. This is from Politico. California Latino lawmakers rebuke Harris for saying do not come. So she's getting fire from Latinos in California, members of the state house and Senate, that kind of thing, because she told Guatemalans do not come to America. Latino lawmakers in Vice President Kamala Harris's home state reproached her Wednesday for seeking to discourage migration. Well, they better they absolutely better get in line, because there's a few that, Casio, we did a story about it yesterday. You need to, if you didn't hear yesterday's show, you need to check it out. Remember our new time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but you need to go back and check that show out. Ocasio-Cortez, man, she reamed Kamala, man. So these Latino lawmakers better get in line, because a lot of progressives are going up the skirt. I probably shouldn't say it that way, considering what Willie Brown. Anyway, that's another story. But they're after Kamala Harris, man. The California Latino Legislative Caucus echoed those rebukes, like the ones that Ocasio-Cortez did, in a response to Harris saying in a statement that seeking asylum in the United States is not only legal, but a matter of life and death for many. Ocasio-Cortez said the same thing. And I will point out, because I'm all about the facts here, excuse me, it choked up about that. There, and you can check it out yourself. You can take my word for it, or you can check it out yourself. But there are only two countries where people can cross the border, United States, and apply for legal asylum. And that is Canada and Mexico, because and when I say Mexico, I don't mean crossing, I mean people, citizens of Mexico and citizens of Canada. That's a very important point, because international law says when you're seeking asylum, that in order to seek asylum, you have to seek it into the very next country you cross into. That is international law, not United States law. So what they're saying is all crazy. So if these people out there in California, maybe we need to extend the wall right on out to California. And I know there's some great citizens out in California, some true patriots. They watch us. There are millions of fantastic people out in California. And you might want to get out where the getting's good. But all I say to anybody running from California, New York, some of these other places, don't bring whatever you're running from into places like Texas and Florida. Please don't do that. But Billy Bob tells me that Kamala had a personal, so there were so many people coming out against her in this, that she actually had Billy Bob's telling me that we actually have video of her responding to each one of those challenges. Well, I'm taking him at his word. Let's see it.
Wow. In San Francisco.
First, after. So my point is,
how do you define what you hear from?
We appreciate you being here on New Day.
I mean, he should have warned me about that, man. Let me tell you, you don't want to hear that cackle, man. It's like, it's coming out like, my pretties. That's what it reminds me of. But yeah, she had a response. She responds to everything. Just laugh, man. But back to this article, and we're going to play you one more video before we conclude it. There's not going to be a quick fix, she told NBC's Lester Holt. We're going to play you a little snippet of that. We have to understand that there's a reason people are arriving at the border, and ask what it is, what that reason is, and then identify the problem so we can fix it. So she's going to be Mrs. Fix-It. And I want to play this video. This is a couple of days ago, Lester Holt. It is unbelievable. And when you keep in mind what she's talking about with the border, and then, you know, that Joe Biden is now over in Europe, it all kind of comes together or culminates. Check this out, man.
Quickly put a button.
Okay.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
At some point, you know, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't understand the point that you're making. I'm not discounting the importance of the border.
Well, I mentioned it because I know Republicans have certainly come at you on this, but Democratic Congressman Cuellar has a border district, has said to you and the president, come. You need to see this.
Listen, I care about what's happening at the border. I'm in Guatemala because my focus is dealing with the root causes of migration. There may be some who think that
I'm surprised she didn't say, I don't understand the point of your question. I mean, who didn't understand the point of that question? If true, then she is a complete imbecile. If you don't understand the point of the question, I mean, Think about that, man. I'll probably post it up on my Facebook site so you can see that video again. But she literally looks with a straight face, cackling a bit, I guess, and says, I don't understand the point of your question. He said that you hadn't been to the border and you're supposed to be the border czar. That's what he's saying. And then she goes, well, I ain't been to Europe either. You know, Joe wouldn't take me over there. I mean, I'm sure behind the scenes she asked, you know, Lester, can we work this out? I mean, I got a couch right here. I got one of these blow up anyway, I shouldn't tease her that way. All I can say to any of that, ladies and gentlemen, is God help us. God help us that she is literally a heartbeat away from the president, if not the president already. You know, I really think that Biden, I've told you this before, but I think Biden has already accomplished his entire agenda. He just wanted to be president, and he's accomplished that. We're living through the third term of Obama. I really believe that, but God help us. These are our leaders, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the show as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. Please remember our new time for live is 11 a.m. Monday through Friday. Please continue to share across social media as far and wide because we're under the gun here. And please visit our sponsors, especially Big Daddy Unlimited. You will not believe the savings you'll get there. And as I told you, Second Amendment folks, you better get woke. Because you might not be wanting to, I understand that you just want to go and do your thing. I get it. But government is watching you. You know, I always feel like somebody's watching me because they are. All right, I'll pray for your family. You pray for mine. Let's all pray for this great nation because, man, she deserves it. And I would maintain needs it now more than ever. But above all else, like I say each and every day, from my heart, from my family to yours, have a blessed day. Thank you.